What's up, nail friends? My client Allison is here. I haven't seen Allison in like 8 or 9 months. So here's what her natural nails look like right now. And she was trying to decide if she wanted to just go with like a gel manicure or if she wanted acrylics. So we prepped the same for either or, and we decided to end up going with acrylics. So we're gonna do a Christmas design today. But with prep, first I'm just gently pushing the skin back to expose the cuticle skin on the nail. And then I'm gonna scrape that up with the back end. And then now I've switched my tool to this tool from Get Buff Nails. This is a really gentle cuticle tool. Just going around and getting that skin up. Do you guys see that skin coming up and off? That needs to go, or that will cause lifting. So I'm just gently getting that skin off. This tool's great. I really like it. Yeah, so that's where I get a lot of my prep tools from, is Get Buff Pro. So I'm just going down the side. I do reverse it and go the other way as well. I got this tool as well from Get Buffed, and this is a small tool that goes around as well, just to get even closer and an even better cuticle area cleanup. Yeah, so you don't really have to do a crazy amount. I'm just getting rid of all the skin there, and then I will remove the shine here. This is on a super low speed. I'm just using it to get rid of that shine. And then I will also shorten her nails because these are her natural nails. So these videos that I do here are all in real time because there is a ton of short form content out there, but I like to show you guys real-time videos on real clients and the speed that I go and how everything goes. So yeah, I'm just using a hand file here to shape her free edge just because it's a little long, so it doesn't need to be that long. I could use tips or sculpt because her nails were in great condition. I decided to go with tips today. Yeah, so I decided to use I think I used the square, yeah, Glitter Bells Pinch Square, and I'm just gluing this on the tip. I do this on all the nails, and then if you guys have seen my videos before, I really hate shaping tips without having like a base down first. So I'm going to apply the tips and then apply the base and then shape everything. And then, yeah, so I'll show you guys that. So apply all my tips here, glue them down, and then I'm going to apply primer and dehydrator. Okay, so after I've applied my primer and dehydrator, I'm just picking up a really small thin bead of clear acrylic, placing that down, wiping off my brush, and then flattening it towards the cuticle area. And then I'm just dragging this down over the tip a little bit, and that will just blend that in and make it easier for when I want to shape them. And also I've already got my clear base down for her colored acrylic, so if so there's no staining and stuff, so it's kind of just doing 2 in 1 at one time. So I'm kind of doing my base and then I get to shape instead of shaping and then doing a base. So it's just what I like to do. Some people like to shape first. It depends on what I'm doing, but personally right now I just find I hate shaping the tips when they're not secure enough. It just feels weird. I don't like it. So we're gonna do them like not short, not long, just medium length. So I'm just clipping off the tip here on all of these, and then I will shape with a hand file because they kind of flare out ever so slightly, even though they say they're pinched. They're pinched as in they have a pinch C curve, but when you cut them here, they flare out a little bit. So I am going to file and straighten the sidewalls and pull those up so that it's nice and straight and doesn't have any kind of flared out side. I'm also going to pinch the nails while I'm working so that they have a nice deep C curve as well. So I'm just filing, shaping, getting this the shape that I want, and then we can start. Okay, so here's how all the nails look after they were shaped. I filed around the cuticle area to make sure they weren't too thick, and then I make sure they're all the same. Okay, so I'm working on this hand. So I'm using white satin. It is a white with a little bit of shimmer in it, which makes it really, really easy to do ombre and fade. It also dries slower than something like a plain white, so you can work with it a little bit easier. It's just great. I love the shimmery colors. So they apply so smooth. So easy to do that. So I did that first on that finger, and then I'm repeating that on her thumb as well. So because I'm using red in this set, I actually have 2 dishes of monomer. One has the monomer for when I'm using red and encapsulating the red, and one has monomer for when I'm doing the white and encapsulating the white. That because it's the monomer gets stained with the red and turns pink, and then we don't want to turn our white pink. So the glitter I'm going in with, I think I used garter. So this is just a rainbow mixed with some shards of iridescent, sort of like hollow silver. It's interesting. They're really pretty. So I'm applying that along the line where I did the fade with the white, and then just gently blending it down. And then I'm going to go in at the cuticle area as well. So this client, her ring fingers are kind of crooked. So when I do her nails, I shape them so when I'm looking at them, they look really straight, because that's the most of the time your hands are straight out. But when you turn your hand towards yourself, it'll look a little crooked. So you kind of have to figure out which way you want to put your tip, if you want to match the finger, if you want to match the nail. And in one scenario, it might look a little crooked. So she's never complained about that. Her nails are, like, her ring fingers are like sideways. You guys will see at the end, or maybe you notice every time I show you guys her hands, that her ring fingers kind of shape out sideways, like a different way. They don't come straight out, so we work around that. So here I'm applying that down, and again just using my brush to push towards the cuticle area. I'm using my pinky to support myself, as you can see. And I'm just using the very tip of my brush, pushing that close to the cuticle area and try to get that nice. But remember, I already have my clear base down. So I'm not using this color to, I'm not using the color down. I already have the clear base. So that makes it easier. So this red I picked is called Dorothy. It's really pretty, but it has ever so slightly the pinkest tint to it. I don't know. I thought it would be really nice, but as I was working with it, it seems to match really nicely with the red, but it has a little bit of a pink tint to it. So I'm going to go in with a red loose glitter as well, just to add a little bit more glitter and more redness to the nail. So I'm applying this down. I'm going to pat and pull it into place, and then we will go in with our glitter. So loose glitter, you need to pick up some clear acrylic. So I pick up some clear acrylic, grab the loose glitter, and then I'm just placing that down on the nail and kind of spreading it around where I want it. And then on the middle finger, I'm going to do red fade. So I'm going to start at the tip with the red acrylic, place that down, and pat and pull into place, pushing up towards her natural nail line. This is going to be a little bit of a fade, so I'm just placing that down, and then I'm going to pull that down. This is super smooth to work with. I'm able to just pull that down and get full coverage. So pretty. And then I'm just wiping it upwards to get that ombre blend. Then I'm going to pick up Dorothy, place that down, wipe off my brush, flatten it towards the sides of her nail, and then feather that down over the red. And just keep patting that to make sure it's really flat and smooth. Added a little bit more red because I accidentally covered some of the red with glitter, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to end up covering the nails with snowflakes anyway. So I'm picking up another bead, going in for my cuticle bead. Placing that down, I leave a space, and then I push towards, and I use my brush to get it close, and as close as I can towards the cuticle area. And then I'm going to go in with my loose glitter. So that turned out really pretty. And then I'm just picking up that loose glitter and spreading that around where I want it. On her pointer finger here, I'm going in all red. Such a pretty color. Flattening that down. Wiping off my brush, cleaning off my brush. And then I'm just gently pulling that down and lifting her finger at the same time to get a nice smooth application of that product. Wipe the sides and pat the tip. Make sure it is nice and even, and then we'll go in and add our cuticle bead. Placing that down away from the cuticle area, bending her finger down. I don't want any product to seep into the sidewalls. That will be messy and annoying to clean up. So I'm placing that down. It's a little wet, it's moving quickly, so I am drying off my brush, cleaning off my brush, and then moving the product where I want it. Keeping her finger pointed downward, like I said, so nothing seeps. And then I'm moving that towards the side and blending down. Blend, blend, blend. Wipe off your brush if you're ever worried about product sticking. Blend and wipe, blend and wipe. And then I will work on the sides here, pat them into place, and make sure that the tip is super, super even with color and even with product. Okay, now we're going to encapsulate. So on her pinky, since it's the smallest nail, I'm probably just going to go in with a bead at the cuticle area, pat that down. You can see I'm using my finger for support with my other finger, just so I can make sure that I have full control with my brush. I place it at the cuticle area. I try to get my cuticle bead in nice, and then I'm just pulling the rest of the product down the nail, and I'm going to get that smooth and even at the tip. And this nail was shorter and thicker, so I think I've already created my little apex there. And then we will move forward with the other nails. I'll show you guys how I encapsulate the longer nails. Like I said, I have a different monomer because this would be completely pink if I didn't. Place that down and I'm just swiping that off basically, like down the nail. I did apply a little bit too much, so I placed that down, swiped a bunch off, and now I'm just making the tip even. Okay, and then I'm going to apply my cuticle bead, placing that down away from the cuticle area, and then I'm going to use my brush to push that close and use the very tip of my brush to push that into the cuticle area so that that area is thinner, and I have my apex, and then I'm just gently feathering that down into the bottom half of the nail where I've already applied product. And then I always pat my tip to make sure it's nice and even. So I'm going to do the same thing, just moving on forward. That nail is drying, and then I'm going into the middle finger. So when I'm doing full sets and pinching nails, I do the pinky, the ring finger, and then the middle finger, and then I go back and pinch the pinky. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just applying this down, getting my tip done first because these are a little bit longer, and then I will do my cuticle bead. Place that down away from the cuticle area, use my brush to push that towards it, cleaning off my brush to make sure nothing sticks to it, and wiping off my brush to make sure it's not full of monomer. And then I'm tapping and placing it around the cuticle area, and then blending it down into the bottom half. And then I'm just making sure that my tip is nice and even. So now I'm gonna go and pinch her pinky nail here. Just stick my pinching tool on, give it a slight little pinch just to give it a better C curve, and pull in those sidewalls. This shouldn't hurt your client, so make sure that you know what you're doing when it comes to pinching. So I kind of bumped that one, so I'm just fixing it with my gloved finger. So while her pinky is pinching, I will then move on and apply on her pointer finger, and then while I'm doing this, I will place a pinching tool on her ring finger in a sec as well. So I kind of just move on. I kind of have to pay attention to each finger and not forget about pinching. So after all the nails have been applied and pinched and dried, this is what they look like. So now I'm going to go ahead and finish file. So I'm going to file around the cuticle area with my carbide bit. So I'm just using this to debulk the nail, bring up the sidewalls. That way it's just a little bit easier for hand filing. So I really don't do a lot with this. I just go around my cuticle area, around my sidewalls, and debulk any thick pieces that need to be debulked before hand filing. So I do all the way around. I always work on the one hand while the other hand is still drying from its acrylic. So that's what I'm doing. This is the other hand now, so I'm just filing around, debulking. Like I said, keeping my apex. Try not to take too much product off. We're just using this to gently debulk the nail. Okay, now I'm using a hand file to shape the sidewalls, the cuticle area, and the tip. And then I'm just going around and just making sure everything is nice and smooth. After hand filing, I do go in with a buffing block, and that is to go around the cuticle area, around the tip, and just to debulk, or just to get rid of any like deep scratches you're gonna see with that was from your hand file. But make sure you always score your buffing blocks, because they can be really sharp and you don't want to cut anyone. So score your buffing blocks and then go in and buff and file. We're going to add some snowflake stamps. So I'm just doing some little stamps of snowflakes on the red nails. Super pretty. Just using a kind of off-white color to do snowflakes. Super pretty. Super easy. She didn't want any crystals. She's a mom. You know, crystals get in the way. So that's what I did with the snowflakes. And then we're just going to go and top coat with no wipe top coat. I'm going to top coat everything, cure it fully, and add my cuticle oil. And then I'll show you guys what that looks like. So when you're adding top coat on nails with stamps, sometimes they separate. It's kind of strange. So I saw people take like an alcohol wipe and just like dab over the snowflakes or whatever kind of stamp you're doing, or to apply your top coat and like cure really quickly so it can't move out of place. So one of her fingers does end up with like a little pooling spot at the end, but I do fix it, so don't worry if you see it when I'm showing you guys the end result. So I do notice it right away, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna add more top coat and fix that little pool. So yeah, just a tip. Okay, and here is the finished result. You can see on her right hand, there's a little missing spot there. So I do add more top coat, like I said. What do you guys think? I thought they turned out so pretty, so shiny. Perfect for the first Christmas set. She wants to come back and get another Christmas set. She loves Christmas. If it was up to her, she'd probably have Christmas nails all of November, all of December. You know what I mean? She loves it, loves it, loves it. So hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and leave me a comment. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!